Om Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavahavahi तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्री भगवान उवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् अधश्च ऊर्ध्वं प्रसुतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणः प्रबुद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूल्याननुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्वेह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चार्दी न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसुता पुराणी निर्मानमोहः जितसङ्गदोषाः दोषाः अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसङ्गैः गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययं तत् I am making you to chant so that whenever you come to ashram, so that you cannot say, excuse, sorry Swamiji, I don't know this. Okay? So when you are coming to ashram, whether you like it or not, you have to chant 15th chapter, or else there is no prasadam. Is it clear? So then you can say better not to come, okay? Then no problem also. Anyway, good. Now, as in the 15th chapter itself, Lord Krishna very carefully talked about samsara in the beginning. So that once you know what is samsara, what is a problem, then you will work for samsara nivritti. So samsara nivritti is nothing but called what? As moksha. So while discussing this samsara nivritti as moksha, Lord Krishna brought very carefully that 4 types of sadhanas. Unlike sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikarina, that viveka, vairagya, shamadama, adi sarka sampati, mumukshitvam. So instead of that, he brought little bit differently. So the first one we have discussed very carefully. What he used that called asanga sastrena drudhena chitva. So that he brought as nothing but called vairagyam. So the vairagyam is most important thing. So what is vairagyam? So vairagyam is nothing as a common person always depends upon the universe or samsara. Now the person starts shifting dependence from samsara to Ishvara. Because in the beginning, Ishvara is being called as the taproot of the samsara as paroksha vastu. So when it is a paroksha vastu, so it is srishti karta, especially it is mainly called as efficient cause. Later on will come what as material cause. Now I start, let us say, shifting my dependence from samsara, from people, object, situation to Lord. So when I start shifting that, now what happens? I develop a shock absorber. So that is the first and foremost thing. We'll be seeing later on how it works also in differently. Then he says, look, that's not enough. Second thing is called saranagati prapati ityartha. So this prapati Tameva chadyam purusham prapatye. So that means here he says that purusham, that person which resides in every living being. Also it is me, Purisayanatva. So that person I need to take shelter. Now I surrender Saranagati. So why Saranagati was being highlighted? Because to achieve anything in life, I need two things. So one is called my effort, prayatna. But prayatna is not enough. I need Iswara Anugraha. So without Iswara Anugraha, definitely things will go wrong, especially how I will look at, how I will address X factor. So in order to address this X factor, what I do generally is that I need to really take care of what? Take care of this Saranagati aspect. So I learn to surrender. Then after surrender, the third one, of course, comes what called Vedanta Vichara. We'll be seeing. So actually, third one, we can bring it here very carefully from fifth verse onwards it comes. So for the third one, we can bring it as Sadgunas. So we need all the Sadgunas. Why Sadgunas are most important aspect? Because remember, for anything, we need a comfortable surrounding. For anything. For example, even if you observe a farmer to make the seed to germinate has to cultivate first. Without cultivating, definitely will not put the seed. It will go waste. So the land has to be cultivated. The land not only has to be cultivated, it has to wait for the monsoon at least, unless it has got irrigated land. If it is irrigated land, that's another point altogether. But the farmer looks at all these aspects. Just a seed to germinate. Now, this knowledge, this Vedanta Vichara to take place, now this mind must be ready. So, mind to be ready, I need to have what? I need nothing, but I need what? My, all these gunas, called sadgunas. Then only what happens is what we say, Purusham, that which is Purani Prapattihi, that is what Pravrittihi. So that means what? That the ancient process of creation, that is the creator. Now that God, when I surrender, now automatically I started developing these gunas. How? Let us look at this verse number 5 where we were. निर्माण मोहाजित संग दोष अध्यात्म नित्या विनिवृत्त काम द्वंद्वैर विमुक्ता सुख दुख संगी गच्छन्ति अमूढ़ा padam avyam tatithya. Now, if you look at this sadgunas especially, sadgunas has got very big role, especially in teaching. If you observe in 13th chapter, these were also taught in details as jnana. Later on in 16th chapter also we'll be seeing as a Daivi Sampati. Time to time, Lord Krishna will bring this because most important thing is because without this, I'm sure nothing is going to move. Because the reason is what? Just observe. Let us look at this gunas, how it is being taught so that it becomes easier for us to understand. The first one is called Nirmana Moha. So here, two virtues being highlighted, two values have been highlighted. So one is Nirmana Moha. When you say Nirmana, and nirmoha. There are two. So when you say nirmana, so mana means what? If you observe very carefully, so nirmana means the one who is free from arrogance, free from pride, free from vanity, means the one who has developed humility, the one who is humble. Because we bring it very carefully. The first and foremost qualification of a sadhaka is to become humble. Your arrogance, your pride will not work with teaching or teaching. Because the moment you become proud of yourself, whatever you have, definitely you cannot appreciate who you are. Always you will be holding on to what you have. From that standpoint, you look at yourself. Teaching is entirely different. That's why the story goes beautifully. So there was a student. So who was studying under a master. After completing his study, he went out. In few years of time, he started growing, and after some time, he became governor of the state. So after becoming governor of the state, he thought of why not to pay respect to the master. So with the protocol, he came, and of course, master was sitting. Master did not bother. Then after that, he said, "Look, master is not responding. Better to know. After all, up, leave the all protocol." So he handed over his, business card to somebody, to one of the student. Okay, please give to the master that tell that I have come. Master saw and said, "I don't know who is this person." Returned back. So he was shocked. Of course, being a student, he knows what to do, what not to do. Then what he did? So first what he did is he removed the address, governor's house and whatnot, all these things. Then went and sent. Again, master said, "Sorry, I don't know." Finally, he removed the governor and everything, only the name. So when the master saw the card, only his name. Oh, he has come. Call him, call him, call him. Let him meet. Because he was coming with his card, who am I? So when a student forgets sadhaka, when comes with this pride, it doesn't work. That's why, especially in South India, there are certain things to be observed, which is very nice, which is portrayed wrongly, especially in South India, when especially man goes. It's supposed to go with, removing shirts. So goes completely, surrender attitude. Of course, it is being talked differently. I'm not getting into the controversial situation. Okay. So the concept is here what? I go to the temple as a devotee. Not with my arrogance, not with my pride. Because pride or arrogance comes when I hold on to something and I depend upon something and I say that is me, not that is mine. Can you see this point? The sense of pride, the sense of arrogance you develop. When you have something, but you think that you are. For example, you have riches. So as long as you think that you are having riches, there is no problem at all. But when you consider that you are rich, automatically the pride comes or not. So I have the attitude of renunciation. Is another is a dangerous pride. I have the attitude of renunciation. I am renunciate. So everybody must do my Pada Puja. You understand? That is more dangerous. So this is called pride. This is called arrogance. So here we say very carefully, especially this is to be very carefully looked at. Because manam can get into mind at any moment. It doesn't take much time. That's why manam to be handled. One has to be careful. So we have different methods of handling manners. The first and foremost that we have seen in 10th chapter, whatever you have vibhuti belongs to Ishvara. The wealth that you have is not that you have earned. You just stumbled upon. The knowledge that you have, you just stumbled upon. Who are you? There are better people than you. You happens to be, right time. That's why crooks also in right time, they become successful. So there was one president of India. Right time, he was in right position and he succeeded. There are many things. So what I'm highlighting here is that manam can take over me at any moment. So first thing I have to understand, I have to appreciate that whatever I have is Ishvara's grace. Number one. Number two is that whatever I have, it's not that I am the best. Not even if I am one of the best. There are many people, they are better than me. Maybe they are not expressing, they are not talking. With reference to knowledge, with reference to money, with reference to everything. That's why the story of Kuvera comes, how Ganapati Ganesh destroyed the arrogance of Kuvera. We have talked also. Because I am not the only rich person. I am not only the beautiful person. I am not only the smart person. I am not only the handsome person, or I am not the only knowledgeable person. There are many, plenty. I am one of them. Please understand. That's why I have to remind myself. This is called mental exercise. All the time I have to, what? I have to remind myself these two aspects. That's not enough. That's why third one we bring it called Saranagati. Do namaskara. This is what our culture. Not namaskaram, handing this thing, namaskar with the chest and something like this, okay? It does not work. You have to do Ashtanga Namaskar. You have to fall flat. If you have back pain, you can do Sashtanga Namaskar, okay? Or kneeling down, okay? No excuse in that. If you have any opportunity, never ever miss doing Namaskar. This is called physical exercise. Because unless you bend down, your arrogance will not go. That's why you can say the moment you are arrogant, you cannot bend down. Try. You are so stiff physically. Mentally, of course, you are not. That's another point altogether. You cannot bend down. You will be reluctant to bend down. And when you bend down also, that process is not natural. There will be jerk. How you bend down, how you get up. There is a jerk. Not that because your back is not good, your body is not good, or you are aged. No, all are secondary. It is completely related to the rigidity to your mind. Because this manam is a disease and it affects both mental body and physical body. That's why two things to be done to take care of the mental body. I need to do what? Now, these two things to be remembered, reminded by me. What is that? One is that whatever I have is God's grace. Second one is what? I am not only one. There are better people than me. This is called mental exercise. And physical exercise, what? Let me do namaskaram. That's why in the class, we do namaskaram before, after all these things. It's not like no namaste ho gaya, काम खत्म हो गया, ठीक है? And in especially North India, they will half bend down, half touch the feet, not knee. Okay, what a great namaskar. Okay, and of course, and when it goes to West, especially all yoga people, they will keep the hand on the vertical chest. Okay, uh, like little bend down, namaste. And of course, some you understand politicians, namaskar. Which is that's why you can see the mohas, sorry, manas. And remember, when there is mana, automatically moha comes. So here is a second virtue called nir. Again, we have to nirmana, nirmoha. So second virtue, what is nirmoha? So moha is one. Here you have to see very carefully. The one who is confused, who is deluded. So the one who is under the influence of delusion is called moha. Nirmoha means what? Free from delusion. Now, if you observe this point very carefully, where there is mana, there is moha. You cannot say, no, 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 I am arrogant, I am pride, but I am clear in my thinking. Yes, yes, because you are clear in thinking, your pride comes to forefront. You understand? In fact, you talk louder, you behave louder way because there is moha. So here is being talked very carefully that when there is no proper thinking, when Atma Vichara does not take over, why? Each one of us are the combination of Purusha and Prakriti that we have discussed in 14th chapter in details. So what is Purusha? Consciousness principle. What is Prakriti? Prakriti is gunas, materials. So when we are the mixture of both, so when we are, or our mind is more towards material, not towards consciousness principle, automatically moha comes. Can you see this point? Because mind is like that. You cannot be free from. So whole life is balancing myself. Any moment more can come, like how the room gathers dust. Room to gather dust, you don't have to keep your window open. You just keep your window closed, door closed, still there will be dust in the room. So also this moha delusion. Because the moment mind starts clinging, leaning towards material aspect, automatically I have moha. So what I need to do? So I need to do Atma Vichar, not Samsara Vichar. But I am busy from morning to evening. What Vichara? Doing only Samsara Vichara. So when samsara vichara is continuing, what happens? Automatically, you know what is going to happen. That's why we are very careful and clear. As a human being, we need to balance. Yes, samsara vichara has its own point, own standpoint. When samsara vichara is to be done, do that, then shift to atma vichara. That's why dharma, artha, kama, moksha, chaturvidha, purushartha comes. So dharma becomes the key point. So through dharma, artha, through dharma, kama, then only the person will come for moksha. That means what? Atma vichara. So the balancing has to be done. Then only what happens? Jita, sangha, dosha. the next value, because it's values after values, okay? So we have seen all these things, okay? Amanitvam, adambhitvam, already this we have seen too, okay? So here, Jita, Sangha, Dosha. So when you look at this Jita, Sangha, Dosha, so Sangha is a dosha. So that means attachment is a flaw or fault. Is a defect, you can say. So what sort of attachment? Oh, physical attachment? No, we are talking about here emotional attachment. So emotional attachment is a defect. So here Jita Sangha Doshaha means the one who is free from emotional slavery. So that means what? I have emotional addiction. I do lean upon external object, people, or situation emotionally. And if I observe myself, always I have a tendency to lean upon something or other. So that's why here he says that very nicely. All my that thinking process is just to lean upon something or other. And if I don't lean upon something or other, I feel uncomfortable. Like, especially those who eat, let us say, born and brought up in South India with the Tair. If one day or 2 days, maximum 3 days, there is no Tair Sadam. Tair Sadam is curd rice, okay, for others. So if there is no Tair Sadam curd rice, what happens? You go crazy. So you feel uncomfortable. Something is wrong. My system is not. You start developing a lot of problems. My system is wrong. Like Italians, if they don't eat few days pasta, they go crazy. And of course, one day they don't drink coffee. Don't ask. So that's why here it says Jita Sangha Dosha. At the same time, what we need to do here is that we'll see Adhyatma Kama little later on. So then he says, look, not only that, Vinivrutta Kama. So Vinivrutta Kama means those who are free from desires. So when we say this desires, so what is the desire? Please understand, when I start making myself free from attachment, now I start developing another attachment. Like somebody said nicely, Swamiji, nowadays I don't drink coffee. I'm giving a good example, okay? But the story is good, no? Swamiji, nowadays I don't smoke. Okay. Okay, very good. So nowadays, Swamiji, I don't drink coffee. But without hot water, without caffeine, I cannot survive. That's why I am drinking tea. You understand? And some people also nowadays talk, Swamiji, nowadays I don't drink tea. I take green tea. And when that fellow goes anywhere, I need green tea. Do you have green tea? Do you have sachet? You understand? This is a new trend, na? Because I'm too much conscious about my body. Forget about my mind. So here is what happens. Making free from desires means here fresh attachment. Because today desire, when it is nourished, you will develop another type of attachment. So I am not only free from or conquer the flaw of attachment, also I don't develop new or fresh attachment. So the one who is free from desires means what? Fresh attachment. And interestingly, here it says, Dvandaihi Bimuktaha. So the one who is free from pairs of opposites. Because in life, Sukham and Dukkham, in the name of what? Sukha Dukkha Sangayihi, they are known as pain and pleasure and pain. See, look, there is everybody under the spell of, under the influence of Sukha and Dukkha, or we say Dvanda, pairs of opposite. That's why to become free from this, not to be affected by these pairs of opposite, not only pain and pleasure, mana, apamana. Today you are rich, tomorrow you become poor. Or today you are poor, tomorrow you are going to be rich. Today you are with people, tomorrow you may not be. Today you have good health, tomorrow you may not be. All this comes under that pairs of opposites. Now we say very carefully that how to handle these pairs of opposites. So we handle pairs of opposites through reading Puranas. So spend some time reading Puranas. If you look at any Purana, there what is being taught? Hey, look, great people, including avatars, gods, they also go through pairs of opposites. Rama went through hell. Lord Krishna was born in the prison. Whole life he was afraid. His childhood was a big mess. I got only one slap in my childhood. Look what happened to me. Look, I don't like my father. I don't like my mother. My childhood is not good at all. What complaint I do it? And this is a childhood problem. Look at Lord Krishna. What hell he went through. Brought up in one place. Born was another place. Constant fear. But how he managed. So when we start reading the Puranas, so we don't bother about these pairs of opposites. Because in everybody's life, pairs of opposite will come. Dukkham, Sukham will come. Mana, Apaman will come. If people are praising you, don't worry. People also will disrespect you. You don't have to worry at all. You don't have to bother at all. Don't expect that, hey, look, only people will respect me. People only will love me. Hey, it doesn't work. If people love you, they will hate you. If somebody hates you, other person will love you. It is exactly like, have you not observed in the family? Especially boys' case, I can tell you openly. So a husband, when he's being scolded by a wife, that time mother supports the boy. Don't worry, come to me. And when mother starts scolding the same fellow, wife starts supporting. How it happens? It is exactly like, just observe this point. So when somebody loves you, somebody will hate you. When somebody hates you, some other person will love you. So that means, in short, these pairs of opposites will continue. And he says, look, finally, I'll take 2 more minutes extra. Adhyatma nitya. So the one who is ever committed to spiritual pursuit. So that means the person is more interested in Atma Vichara. So Atma Vichara means here Shastra Vichara ityartha. Vedanta Vichara ityartha. Not sharpening your ego, not sharpening your intellect, how to handle a situation, what to do, what not to do. It's not like that. Here, why? Because remember, here Shastra Vichara is called Atma Vichara. Spiritual pursuit is nothing but looking at Vedanta, that too under a proper teacher. Because Shastra is Pramana. That Pramana Buddhi has to come. Yes, Swamiji, this is like, Swamiji, your scripture says that, but get lost. If you say your scripture, then let us not talk anything. Swamiji, your Bhagavad Gita is very nice. I see. It's like holding a mirror. Swamiji, because I have handed over a mirror to you, okay? So while holding the mirror, you say, Swamiji, your mirror gives a different picture of me. You understand the concept? So that means you don't understand the function of mirror. So conveniently you are holding mirror. That's why what people they do it. Especially, this is the attitude comes when you go to the hotels, guest houses, especially ladies, what they do. So instead of putting bindi, Indian cases, instead of putting bindi on their forehead, they make the mirror to wear that. So every mirror will have bindis in the hotels and restaurants. Have you not observed? So they don't dress themselves, okay? They make sure that all except them, the mirror should be dressed. Because their attitude is what? Your mirror. So they don't use mirror to see their reflection. Can you see this point? So also Shastra Vichara can be done to see myself, but not to sell. Many times what we do, we take the help of Shastra. We do Shastra Vichara for what? To sell the Shastra. To sell the knowledge. You understand what I'm trying to say? In different way, in different manners. So that is not reality, that is not truth. You are not committed to spiritual pursuit at all. It's like, remember this hotel putting this vertical, your bindi on the mirror. Remember, okay, this point, never do this thing, okay? I'm requesting all, okay? Because why they do is, maybe after taking shower, it will be useful again, I will put it back. They never remember, okay? So that remains there all the time. You have plenty of money to waste. Traveling, you are spending so much money. Can't you have one more extra? And moreover, that synthetic one, don't put it. Put kumkumam. Carry some kumkumam. What are the synthetic ones? Anyway, that's your problem, ladies' problem. Okay, let me not get into too much mess. Okay. So coming back, then only the person becomes amudha, the person who is not deluded, means the wise person. Or else, other than this, if all any other things will continue, the person has to be deluded. And he says, Gachanti, attain tat abhyam padam, the goal that is imperishable, the goal that is not going to come to an end, because anybody starts depending upon limited things will be always perishable. Whereas when you understand this, what happens? He says beautifully, we can say why abhyam padam iti, because first is we say samsara dependence. From samsara dependence comes God dependence. From God dependence, we bring Shastra dependence. So you depend upon Shastra, you depend upon the teaching and teacher. From there comes self-dependence. This is the cycle. More of it we'll discuss. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Gacchati Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all of you.